Love to cook and cook with love. This is Mariposa from Mariposa's Kitchen. My podcast will feature recipes, cooking advice, and stories about my cooking experiences, and hopefully yours too. Hi everyone, welcome to Love to Cook and Cook with Love. This is Mariposa from Mariposa's Kitchen, and today we're going to talk about making Mexican rice, or Spanish rice as some call it. This is a really easy, fast, simple side dish that you can make. It's a dish that can be made into a casserole to serve everyone. If you want to add some chicken, make arroz con pollo, which is chicken with rice. So let's talk about it a little bit, and then we'll answer some questions we've kind of collected off of YouTube. So first of all, yes, it's easy, it's flavorful. This is for my friends Debbie, Letty, and Naomi. This is for you. I hope you get to try it. I hope you enjoy it. One of the comments I got from someone who tried my recipe was the mistake she made was making only one pan. When she made this recipe for her family, they loved it so much, it completely finished, and people were begging her for more. This is true. I swear it is. So if you're going to make it for your family gathering, maybe make 2 batches, double the recipe, whatever you want to do. But it really is delicious. I use a yellow onion. You can use, yellow, white, maybe even sweet onion. My preference is just yellow onion, and it's just got a wonderful flavor to it. I saute the onion in the pan with some oil. I use either manteca or vegetable oil. You can certainly use coconut oil too if you want to. You could use olive oil, but one thing to think about when you're cooking with olive oil is that it doesn't work well with high heat for extended periods of time. So I would maybe think about not using it and just use vegetable oil if you've got, want to stay away from manteca. But I'll add a tablespoon of manteca to a very hot, large casserole saute pan with something that's comes with a lid. And I'll add a heaping cup of rice after the onion has browned just a little bit, and then you kind of toast your rice. And you're talking about putting it on the pan, letting it sit for a little bit, stir until it gets this really beautiful golden brown, even darker if you can get it. That toastiness, it's kind of like a nuttiness almost that adds so much flavor to your recipe. I highly recommend just kind of pushing it. Don't burn your rice, but get it to that point. And once you do that, you're going to add your wonderful ingredients, which is going to be 3.5 cups of water mixed with almost an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Don't get any fancy tomato sauce, just regular salted tomato sauce. And you're going to add your ground cumin, which is a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, 2.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, and your 2.5 teaspoons of salt. You're going to mix it very well in the liquid. Grab a hold of that lid, and while your pan is really hot and your rice is done being toasted, you want to toss all of that. Now, don't toss it. Pour it all into your pan and cover it. Let all that flavor stay in. That's the kind of thing my grandmother used to say, or my mother used to say. You want to pour it in and then just cover it. You don't want this beautiful flavor escaping. And then you want to go to your sink and add about 1/2 cup of water more in there, just to get whatever you have left over as far as sauce and seasonings in your container with all the water, and then just pour that in. Then you cover it. You want to lower the heat to where your rice is simmering. Don't boil it. Don't leave it up too high because you don't want to scald the bottom of your rice. Leave it on a nice simmer. This will take about 20 to 25 minutes, and what's going to happen is the liquid is going to cook itself out, and you're going to be left with this beautiful rice. Do not stir it. Don't open the lid while it's cooking. Just leave it alone and trust it. Check on it in about 20 minutes because it's going to cook from 20 to 25 minutes. And then once it's done, let it sit, and then you can go back and fluff it up and eat it. But please do not stir your rice. If you stir it, you will have mushy rice. If you tell me you didn't stir it and you still have mushy rice, you stirred it. That's all there is to it. So some common questions that we pulled off of YouTube. Number one, how do I prevent mushy rice? What's the secret? Hey guys, I can't stress it enough. Don't stir. You have no business in that pot while your rice is cooking at all whatsoever. Don't lift the lid, don't look at it, don't anything. Just let it cook. Let it cook, trust it, simmer it, do not stir it. And even then, even in the end when your rice is already ready, just move it to one side. Maybe a little toss or fluff it. You're still not stirring it. Number one, don't stir it. Another person asked, why do I add so much water? Well, the thing is that I'm letting my rice cook till it completely expands. This is where the grain itself gets the most flavor, in my opinion, in my experience, and it's just the way this rice is made. So I'm sorry if it looks soupy in the beginning. You just got to let that cook through, okay? How do you know when to stop browning the rice? If you watch my video, I know you can't quite see a very good zoomed in picture of the rice, but really in your mind I want you to imagine what rice looks like when it's golden toasty kind of color. It's going to be just a light brown beige color, and it'll smell just wonderful. Just make sure you never get to that black point where you're burning it, and that'll be enough, okay? And it takes a little bit of time, but stir it, leave it, stir it, leave it, and then once it starts to really brown, keep stirring it and keep stirring it until you go, okay, we've got that toastiness. It's time to come in with some of the other ingredients. So again, one of the other questions says, when do I know it's done? When your water is gone. And that's going to take 20 to 25 minutes. So keep an eye on it. You've got to have a really good simmer on it. I don't want you to have a roaring boil. You want a good simmer, a really good simmer. And remember, I like to use manteca. And then one of the questions was, what is manteca? Manteca is rendered animal fat. It's what was used back in the day, back during times when there wasn't grocery stores nearby, and the Mexican families, really any family working out on the farms, would kill the pig and use every part of it, including the fat. And that's what was used to make food delicious, is that fat that was added to it. And now I've had folks tell me, you're using manteca, that's gross. Oh, it's so bad for you. You know what, guys? I don't use it every day. I use it for specific recipes. I don't eat rice every day. I don't eat carne guisada every day. These are special occasion meals, just to let you know. Manteca is perfectly fine. It's not a bad thing. So I don't say anyone step away from using it. It adds more flavor to your food. Why not? And then Isabella, I think I've addressed your question already, but it was, how long do I let it rest after it's done cooking? 5 to 10 minutes is what I do. When my kids were growing up, sometimes it didn't last that long. They wanted to eat right away. One of the things about making this recipe that you'll find is that your house just smells amazing. Even from the moment you're just browning the rice with the onion. I remember my kids would run up to me and go, "What are you making? Why does it smell so good?" And I'm just browning the rice, When I add the onion to the oil, by the way, I do put a dash of garlic salt on it. It just kind of helps the onion sweat a little better. It helps the flavors of the onion pop. I recommend it, a couple of dashes over your onion, and then you just start, watching it saute in that pan right before you add that rice. So anyway, I hope I've answered your questions. If I haven't, please feel free to leave questions in the comments. I so enjoy cooking. This is one of my most favorite things that I make. One of the most wonderful things about this food is it's so easy to just kind of add things in to make it delicious. To this recipe, to make arroz con pollo, just add 2 pounds of chicken tenders. From the package, just drop them in. Don't do anything to the chicken tenders except maybe cut out that tendon that's always sticking out. But then you just add them in. Your recipe doesn't change at all. You just add them in and let it cook for the 20-25 minutes it's supposed to, and you have this wonderful arroz con pollo. I hope you guys try this. I hope you love to cook, and I hope you cook with love. Have a good one, everyone.